From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Good evening, everyone. It is the second night of the Reading Rodeo, and around the time the rodeo starts at 7 p.m., temperature is still a little bit on the warm side, somewhere in the low 80s, and then right around sunset, shortly after 8 o'clock, it'll be somewhere in the mid to upper 70s and probably somewhere in the low 70s later on this evening. Maybe for some of you, it might be a little on the chilly side, so you may need to bring something to keep you warm here as you go into the evening hours here for tonight. But overall, looking at some pretty decent weather. Now, we are going to be looking at warm and dry conditions to wrap up the work week, but I do expect cooler and isolated mountain showers and possible thunderstorms on Saturday. More on that a little bit later. We've also got gusty north winds to return Sunday, which unfortunately, now we've got our first fire weather watch of the season for Sunday through Monday. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. And then we've also got valley highs. We back up into the 90s as we do go through next week. So it looks like summer is going to be kind of creeping in a little bit here for next week. But before we get into all of that, here's what we can expect here for tonight and through the day tomorrow with a look at Krueger's Quickcast. So for tonight, we're dropping down into the mid to upper 50s. It's going to start off mostly cloudy, but clearing overnight and into tomorrow morning, really across the board. 30s and 40s for the higher elevations and temperatures in the mid 40s for the coast. We take you out the door here for tomorrow morning. You're heading out to work, getting the kids off to school. Should be looking at mainly clear skies, maybe some fog along the coast here. Temperatures low 60s for the valley, mid to upper 40s really for most of the higher elevations, although in the eastern mountains in the low 50s. So the clouds that we're seeing here today is just some of the clouds here in advance of this system here, but it is butting up against a ridge of high pressure. But these are the clouds that will be moving in here overnight and then eventually clearing out behind that. So as we look at Futurecast, you can see those clouds here, even some showers mainly off to the north and east, but I don't expect any of that to make its way into the valley. There may be a passing sprinkle in some areas, but overall we're looking at dry conditions through tomorrow morning with clearing skies. As you can see here through Friday afternoon, we are seeing those afternoon clouds developing in the higher elevations, maybe a stray shower developing in southern Lassen and into parts of Plumas County as well. Even an off chance for an isolated thunderstorm, but those chances are pretty slim. Otherwise, we've just got those high and a few mid-level clouds here as we take you through the day on Friday night. It's looking dry as well. All right, so look at the winds here too. Still kind of off and on gusty winds here at times. We take you into Friday morning. Still those winds coming out of the north, 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. And they died down a little bit here, but then by Friday afternoon, still looking at some breezy conditions here in some areas here. So bottom line, off and on winds will continue through the weekend. And of course, as we mentioned, we've got the fire danger that will increase with the lower humidity and those strong winds. More on that a little bit later, but for your Friday, look for temperatures mid to even possibly some upper 80s for some of the warmer spots. I'm expecting 60s and 70s for the higher elevations and upper 50s, even some low 60s for the coast. And over there, most likely looking at partly cloudy skies. So here's your 7-day forecast for the valley. There we do have the windy conditions, but it is going to be dry for the next 7 days, including Saturday for the last day of the Reading Rodeo. As I mentioned, those winds are picking up, and really even as early as Saturday, but that high fire danger will be here by the time we get into Sunday and Monday. For the coast, inland and for Trinity County, dry for the next 7 days, and it is warming up as we take you into next week. For Siskiyou, Modoc County, the eastern mountains, now we could see some isolated showers for Siskiyou County, maybe even an off chance for a thunderstorm, but I think better chances for isolated thunderstorms here for Modoc County and in the eastern mountains. I don't expect there to be a lot of activity, but there will most likely be a few lightning strikes for Saturday afternoon, especially in the eastern mountains. It dries out on Sunday, and you can see temperatures warming up as we take you through next week. All right, that's a look at Krueger's Quickcast. Do want to remind you there's a 24-hour streaming channel anywhere Weather NorCal is available. The website, weathernorcal.com, the free Weather NorCal app. You can also get it on Roku Fire Stick. Just search for Weather NorCal, and anywhere YouTube is available, including your smart TV. So once again, we've got these clouds that will be moving in here for tonight, giving us the mostly cloudy skies. It may squeeze out a few showers in some areas, especially in the higher elevations, very light though. And fast forwarding to Saturday, I think most of the thunderstorms are going to be here, and then Bernie southeastward. I want to take this area out here for thunderstorms as well, because I think most of it will be Bernie eastward, and then chances are slimmer in Siskiyou County, better chances for Modoc, Lassen, and into Plumas County as well. But bottom line, there will be that chance. So let's take a look at Futurecast. There you can see overnight tonight. Yeah, those skies are actually clearing as we do go into tomorrow morning, so it should be good for the pancake breakfast, just a little on the chilly side. So make sure you and the kiddos have something warm to wear as you're eating those pancakes tomorrow morning. And then we take you into Friday afternoon. You've got the partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, especially for the higher elevations. There may be a stray shower in southern Lassen and into Plumas counties, but otherwise dry everywhere else. Let's take you into Friday night and Saturday morning. We could see some thunderstorms popping up even Saturday morning for Modoc County and maybe even parts of northern Lassen County. But you'll notice everywhere else is looking dry. Look at Saturday around midday. So that's what I was talking about. Maybe some activity for eastern Siskiyou County, around the Bernie area, and then southeastward working its way into Susanville and even into parts of Plumas County as well. And we may even see some activity for Modoc County. But the valley, midday, you're actually looking at mainly sunny skies and dry conditions for the most part for Trinity County, western Siskiyou, Del Norte, and Humboldt counties. We take you into Saturday afternoon. Look where most of the activity is. It's all off to the north and east, and you can see it's actually kind of wrapping itself up. And the reason for all of this is we do have an area of low pressure moving in off towards our east, and the flow around that low pressure system is what's bringing in that instability and some of those showers and thunderstorms. So it's the positioning of that low. If they bring it a little bit closer to us, then of course that will shift a little bit more to the south and west. But for now, it does look dry for that last day of the Reading Rodeo on Saturday, and even going into your Saturday night as well. So, of course, as we take you into Sunday, it's dry, and it looks like taking you all the way through next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday and Friday, looking at dry conditions, but we really don't have any big ridges of high pressure building in. But the other thing we've got to watch here, and this is something I touched on in the weather headlines, is the first fire weather watch of the season. Now, it's going to be in effect from 8 a.m. Sunday until 8 p.m. on Monday due to the gusty north winds and low humidity. Pretty typical, right? So again, this isn't going to go out all the way to Sunday, but this will give you an idea of what's leading up to it. You see, we've been dealing with this here over the last week, really, is off and on winds coming out of the north. And when you have those north winds, that tends to suck out all of the moisture, not only in the atmosphere, but even starts to dry out the fuels as more. So we start seeing more and more of those dry fuels, and that continues to be a bit of a problem. So the overall high fire danger setup is this. We've got low pressure that's going to be working its way down to the south and east. That is what's known as an inside slider. Now, this is something we don't like to see this time of the year, especially as we start getting into the summer, because inside sliders are known for bringing in gusty north to northwest winds with high pressure down towards south and west. That's Sunday morning. That low pressure continues to slowly dive down to the south. That gives us more gusty winds on Monday, but they should start to relax by Monday night into Tuesday. No longer really concerned about the winds, but then we kind of focus on the temperatures, and it's getting warmer as we go into next week. But what you'll notice is the main ridge of high pressure is out over the desert southwest and pretty far to the south as well. So yes, that heat is going to be working its way and expanding into Northern California, but we're not talking upper 90s to 100 degrees. We're talking low to possibly even some mid 90s through next week, and you can see that in the 10-day trend. Of course, the cooler weather I've been talking about over the weekend, and then back up to the, I'd say on average in the low 90s. There are some days we could get up to around 94, 95, topping out, but overall, no major heat wave, just about 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Now, as we take a look at those wave heights, they are actually dropping here for your Friday, so that's good. However, I do expect as we go into Friday evening and into Saturday, those wave heights are going to start to increase, and we will most likely be looking at more small craft advisories to wrap up the weekend and going into the weekend. So there's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the 70s, even some 80s for your daytime highs tomorrow. Should be another pleasant day. I'm expecting dry conditions for your Friday. Temperatures upper 50s to low 60s along the coast. Coast, low 70s. Out towards the inland areas, 74 degrees for Orleans, 75 in Hoopa, and 73 degrees for Gas Key. And of course, looking at the dry conditions for the next 7 days, do have a chance for a scattered shower or two on Saturday for Mount Shasta eastward. Slimmer chances as you head off to the west here on Saturday. For your Friday, Modoc County, you're dry, looking at temperature upper 60s here for your daytime highs. There's that chance for showers and thunderstorms isolated. It's not going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to see that activity, and that's the case for the eastern mountains as well. I think Bernie could see a shower or two, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm, but places like Shingletown, Viola, I think your chances are slimmer. Paradise, I think your chances are slimmer. But Chester, eastward, yeah, you've got a chance for showers and possible thunderstorms on Saturday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow, for the valley, you're looking at temperatures mid to even some upper 80s for your daytime highs, dry and warm and cooler for your Saturday, and then those winds picking up for Sunday and Monday. There's your 7-day forecast for Chico. Temperatures are in the upper 70s to low 80s for Saturday, Sunday, back up into the 90s by Monday through next week. Let's take you up to the north. 86 degrees for Redding, all the way down to Cottonwood, 87 out at Red Bluff, 81 in Lakehead and Palisadro, about 86 degrees. And there's your 7-day forecast for Redding. The last 2 days of the Redding Rodeo. That will be Friday and Saturday. Saturday is going to be the day we expect cooler temperatures, but at this point, it looks like it should stay dry. Most of the activity will be north and east of the valley. Windy conditions as we go into Sunday, back in the upper 80s on Monday, low to mid-90s by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have a great night.